I'm 81 years old now, and these wrinkles etched across my face aren't mere signs of time. They're the etched roots of a journey I raced through at breakneck speed, but almost entirely off course. I've arrived at the quiet edge of life, where the waves pull back, leaving only silence in their wake. I sit in this vast house I once called a triumph, a place so large it swallows sound, and one unrelenting truth echoes in every empty room. I devoted my whole existence to constructing a tomorrow that I never truly inhabited. I committed the same grave error I see so many of you repeating today. I believed there was always more time. I persuaded myself that life, real, meaningful life, would start after the debts were cleared, after the children finished their degrees, after I finally stepped away from the desk. But I've crossed every finish line, and on the other side, there's nothing but echoes and shadows. If you could have glimpsed me in my 40s and 50s, at the height of my momentum, you might have envied the picture. Invitations to exclusive events, private jets on standby, a waterfront estate in California that overlooked the Pacific like a throne. By every standard the world applauds, wealth, influence, power, I had triumphed. I scaled the peaks, slew the obstacles, raised my banner at the summit. Yet from this vantage point at 81, I must confess the bitter secret. I won every contest, but I competed in solitude. I erected a fortune, but left no one to share its stories. I became richer than my wildest childhood dreams, yet I stand as the most destitute man alive, because along the path, I discarded everything that held genuine value. It began innocently enough, as these things often do. I convinced myself every sacrifice was for my family. The endless 70-hour weeks, the birthdays I missed while closing deals overseas, the anniversaries postponed for board meetings, each was a stone laid in the foundation of their future security. I transformed our home into a transit stop, a place to sleep between flights, and my office into the real sanctuary where I worshipped. I knelt at the altar of achievement. To make up for my absence, I showered my wife with designer watches and luxury trips she took alone. I enrolled our children in the finest boarding schools, believing elite education could replace a father's steady hand and listening ear. I was certain money could stand in for presence. The cruel reality I learned too late. Time cannot be repurchased. No amount of wealth erases the empty chairs at the table. I earned titles, corner offices, and respect from strangers, but intimacy slipped through my fingers like sand. I became the provider who kept the lights on, yet I ceased being the husband who made the house feel alive. Ambition is a voracious deity. It demands your entire being as tribute and hands back only a gleaming, lifeless prize. I still recall the afternoon I signed the papers for our dream residence. 8 bedrooms, an infinity pool, gardens that bloomed year-round, and views that stretched to the horizon. Walking through those pristine halls, I felt invincible, like a man who had finally arrived. Today, those same rooms are hollow shells, 8 silent chambers filled with dust and memories no one visits. Chairs stand empty. A massive oak table bears no traces of shared meals in over 15 years. I collected the accolades of giants, but now I yearn for the simple warmth of a modest cottage where voices once overlapped. Society drills it into us: grow bigger, upgrade constantly, ascend higher. But each step upward often carries you farther from the few people who truly see your soul. I became obsessed with preserving assets, maintaining the estate, polishing the portfolio, while neglecting the humans who should have filled my days. My holdings are valued in the tens of millions, yet the people who mattered have vanished. The children visit rarely, and when they do, the conversations are polite but distant. I also regarded my body as an inexhaustible well. I pushed it mercilessly for decades, chain smoking during late-night strategy sessions, fueling myself with espresso and red wine to unwind, boasting about being the last to leave the building. I assumed I could mortgage my health and repay the loan later with doctors, supplements, or a high-end gym membership after retirement. At 81, the bill has come due. The body records every unpaid debt and charges compound interest. I'm repaying now for the nights I stole from sleep in my 30s, the chronic tension I carried through my 40s and 50s. I possess the funds to charter a plane to any corner of the globe, but I lack the stamina to climb even a gentle slope. Health is not a debt you settle in old age. It is the sole currency that truly matters from the beginning. In my career, I pledged unwavering devotion to impersonal corporations. I poured my prime years into systems that could erase me in a single board decision. 2 years after my retirement, my nameplate was removed from the door, my initiatives deemed outdated. To the organization, I was replaceable. To the people who genuinely cared, I offered only remnants of my energy. I guarded my image so fiercely that I donned an impenetrable mask of composure and control. But that mask became my prison. By concealing every crack, every doubt, I prevented anyone from loving the real, flawed me. I achieved the appearance of an impeccable existence, but forfeited the substance of profound bonds. Now, watching my grandchildren repeat the cycle, scrolling through emails during family dinners, obsessing over quarterly targets, I feel the full weight of my legacy. I taught them excellence in competition, but I never demonstrated how to savor existence. How many hours of your days do you spend in anticipation, in the waiting lounge of life, waiting for the weekend to unwind, for vacation to recharge, for the next promotion to feel worthy, for retirement to begin living? I waited my entire life, and the moment never arrived. The waiting room only leads to another, until the doors close forever. If I could speak to my younger self, or to you right now, I'd say this: stop building for a future that may never feel like home. Pause today. Look at the faces around you, the partner who still waits for your full attention, the children who need your stories more than your savings. Choose presence over prestige. Choose vulnerability over veneer. Choose health over hustle. The summit is lonely if you climb alone. The empire crumbles if no one shares its warmth. Life isn't measured by the size of your house or the figures in your account. It's measured by the fullness of your heart when the tide finally recedes. I share this not from a place of wisdom earned easily, but from the ache of lessons learned too late. May you hear it sooner. May your map lead you toward the people, not away from them. Reflect on this tonight. What are you waiting for, and how much longer will you wait? If this video touched you, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. In your own story, which waiting room are you spending your time in? Are you waiting for tomorrow? Share it in the comments. Maybe we'll wake up earlier together.